Have you ever had a health inspection and it not go the way that you wanted to? Or maybe you have never had a health inspection and you're worried about the very first one? We're going to talk about some tips today to help you out with just that problem. Hi, my name is Bill Moore. I'm the Executive Director of the National Street Food Vendors Association, and today I'm interviewing a specialist in how you can have safe food on your food truck. So let's jump right into that interview.
Okay, so I am Ashley Wells and I'm with AJ's Consulting. And really, I just provide tools and a plan for small businesses like food trucks to just be food safe and inspection ready every day. The guidelines that our local authorities have in place are there to protect our customers. And we just want to make sure that we're offering the highest level of customer service every day and really building that trust within your community. And not just when inspection time comes around, but when it is time for those inspections, we really just want you to go into those audits with confidence. And we provide the tools for you to be able to do just that.
A lot of people, when they very first have that, certainly the initial inspection, are scared to death. So if you could think
Yes.
about maybe three common mistakes that they might make that would have them get a ding on those inspections, what would those three things be?
Yeah, the most common mistakes that we see is number one is that improper time and temperature control. It just seems to be the most common one, and that's everything from temperature danger zone. It seems like it's something basic, but really, keeping things out of that temperature danger zone. Make sure we're cooking to those proper temperatures and then cooling food rapidly. And honestly, that's the number one violation just across the board that we see. Second is going to be personal hygiene. Sometimes I think this one just comes down to we do things that are normal for us, not changing our gloves regularly. We're in the mode and we're doing the prep and we're doing the things, and just like, brushing your hair out of your face and you've got those gloves on, or you had a little itch and you scratched it, handling money out of the till and then going right back to that food prep. All things that we've seen. That definitely comes down to the personal hygiene aspect of it. When we wear aprons, going to the restroom with the apron without taking that apron off. The apron, the gloves, they've become a part of us, and we forget. Take those gloves off, wash those hands, put them back on, and they seem small, but it's another common violation. And the third one I should say, is cross contamination, and that's just properly cleaning utensils between use, making sure we have that designated cutting board if you have raw poultry, and then going to vegetables or what have you that aren't going to get cooked to that same temperature. We have to make sure we've got those designated separately, and that we're not. It's a simple cross contamination violation. And one that I like to throw out there for free is another common one is just simply not taking the time to label those food storage items. So we chop up those vegetables, we throw them in the prep cooler, and we didn't date them, we didn't label them, and that's another. So there's four. That's
Well, I'm
another
glad
one
you
that gets
threw it a
missed
bonus.
sometimes.
And those three, four things actually do, I see them all the time where they're very easy things to miss, especially in a food truck where you're the one doing all the work.
Yes.
You tend to hustle, and sometimes you do forget things or not pay attention to even time, because you mentioned time
Yes.
and temperature.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
The product that you have, can you describe it a little bit, and then we'll talk about what a realistic use is of the product that you have?
So basically, we offer like digital downloads that you can print off for use in your food truck. And they're everything from very basic daily needs, like your hot and cold temperature logs. Like we just talked about the temperature danger zone, keeping those logs daily, an employee illness log, which sometimes we forget, like some authorities, they want to see that. And also just like the temperature danger zone graphic, or
Mhm.
even like a proper procedure hand washing graphic. We've got simple things like that. But other things you mentioned earlier about, that first initial food safety audit, we actually have a checklist it's the startup health inspection checklist. And that is actually geared for someone who is starting out just right out of the gate. And it's just a simple tool to prepare you for that initial health inspection before you even open. And then we also offer like daily and weekly food safety habits. And those can actually be like printed off and laminated, so you can just reuse them. Just check the box, dry erase, take care of them that way. My favorite one that I believe is one of the most valuable tools we offer is the food safety self audit. And this is a tool that you can print off, and you're going to walk your food truck through the eyes of an inspector. So it's coupled with a score sheet, and so you can do that self evaluation and actually pinpoint areas that you might need to address. And this is really intended to be used like on a monthly basis. And if you're just following the simple self audit guide, you should be able to walk through any food safety inspection with confidence.
Yeah, being prepared helps with every inspection. can say that 100% true.
Yes.
Let's talk about the costs. So we've been looking at checklists and talking about different things that a food truck owner has to deal with as far as being safe when they serve their food and doing their food prep. What are some hidden costs or friction points you think some owners, when they start to get into food safety, that they're just really hesitant about because either it costs money or seems too much work?
I really think that a lot of times the cost comes more from not having a plan in place. If you don't have a plan in place, if you're getting those violations, those are oftentimes coupled with a fee, right? You're gonna get a citation for that. And a lot of times simply not following the regulations is gonna be more costly for you and the reputation of your business than to invest a little bit into a plan. You know, these are our basic store operations, if you will. This is how we expect things to be done. We have a checklist. We have our logs in place. If you're not investing up front for those items, in the end, it can actually be detrimental to your business. You want to have a relationship and like to be known for trust, for safety. You want to have that good relationship with your community, with your customers, that they know they can trust you, that you're a safe place for them to get that barbecue, to get that snack, to get that, midweek lunch, whatever it is that, you're known for in your community. They want to know that when they go to your truck, you've got good food to eat, that it's safe for them to eat. Really, I think the cost comes from not having that plan in place.
Close your eyes, exhale, feel your body relax, and let go of whatever you're carrying today.
Well, I'm letting go of the worry that I wouldn't get my new contacts in time for this class. I got them delivered free from 1-800-CONTACTS. Oh my gosh, they're so fast.
And breathe.
Oh, sorry. I almost couldn't breathe when I saw the discount they gave me on my first order. Oh, sorry. Namaste.
Visit 1-800-CONTACTS.com today to save on your first order.
1-800-CONTACTS.
LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I
filed my return,
but I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do?
My refund, though. I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
100% agree with that. If you have a plan, not only does it make sure you're going to pass those inspections and not get any kind of civil penalty where they're assessing a fee or a fine, but then also it helps you to not lose food if you have that good plan in place. And losing food can be extremely expensive. And you definitely don't want a health inspector coming in and looking at something and going, oh, this isn't good. You need to discard it.
Absolutely.
There's no debating on that. So even though they may not assess you a fine, you're still being fined by having to throw away food because you didn't have that. You mentioned really 4 different things at the top of our conversation. And there could be other things too, but I'm looking for one simple win, something that a food vendor that may be struggling right now with food safety, that they could take and do today and know that a week from now, they have a better food safety practice. What do you think that would be?
I really think that's probably where that food safety self-audit comes into play. Going back to those basics, are you keeping food temp logs? Are you and your employees properly washing your hands? If you start with those basics, you're going to be okay. That's the whole reason I created that self-audit checklist, is so that you can be confident that you are food safe every day. And when you take it seriously, that we're not just waiting for the inspector or we're rushing around trying to get everything ready for that inspection. Nope, that's not the best practice, I would say. Best practice is to really take food safety seriously every day. Start your morning with your food safety practices, with your daily checklist of your food safety expectations.
Absolutely. Start the day out thinking of food safety. You're going to be so much better positioned rather than playing catch up later.
Yes.
When it comes to food safety, what kind of myths or maybe false beliefs do you hear or see people talking about that really hurts the industry and could really hurt the end user, the guest, the one that's getting the food?
Yes. I think the biggest myth that I have seen is that food safety only needs to be on your radar when it's time for that inspection. I've literally heard it out of the mouths of a food truck owner while I'm getting ready for my inspection. And really, if we have the mindset that we're going to be food safe every day, that's what is going to keep our customers safe, and it's going to build that trust again within your community. Something else I'd like to mention is that really, our local health authorities, they put these regulations in place to keep people safe. Those inspectors are on your side and they want you to succeed. Your job just to make sure that you're following those daily, and then make sure that your employees are also educated about your expectations as well. I really want every food truck owner to be inspection ready every day. And then when those inspections come, when those audits come, you're going into those with confidence.
A lot of folks look at a health inspector or really any official as the enemy, and they are just like the food truck owner. They're doing a job, and those jobs have requirements so they can keep the job tomorrow. So they're having to enforce rules and regulations and really make the job easy for them. Just do stuff right. They don't want to mark you off.
Exactly.
What's one red flag, one thing that food truck owners just really need to never, ever ignore?
I really think it comes back to that number one violation that we see across the board. The number one violation we see is not having proper time and temperature control. It's so important for food safety to prevent those foodborne illnesses. We have to keep items out of that temperature danger zone. And it sounds so cliche maybe, but it's also basic. Like, we have to properly cook those foods, and we have to keep them out of the temperature danger zone. Cooling quickly, heating correctly, thawing correctly, all of those things. We have to be so mindful of the temperature danger zone to keep our food safe for our consumers.
Let's just kind of expand on time temperature controls, because that is mentioned in so many food codes. Time temperature or time/temperature. What exactly does that mean? Because it is two different things.
Sure. So the temperature, we want to make sure that we're, and different meats are going to have different food, I should say, are going to have those different requirements for how high they should be cooked. So if you're cooking, chicken to 165, that has to stay at that 165 as well for that minimum of 15 seconds. So once it's been cooked there, you have to hold that, right? And then I think one myth that we see, or that maybe people aren't as aware of, is that the temperature danger zone, that 41 to 135, that temperature danger zone, that includes from beginning to end. So if you have, if you're prepping that chicken and it's taken you a while to cook it and it's been in the temperature danger zone for 2 hours, and that's the time that you took to cut it up maybe, and then you chill it correctly, and then you bring it back out and you're starting to cook it, you only have 2 more hours. It's a total time of 4 hours to get that out of the temperature danger zone. So really being mindful of working quickly within that time frame and keeping it out of that. They give us the 4-hour time frame, but as little time as possible, that food should be within those danger temperatures. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. It does. A lot of different places that I worked in the past would have either stickers or some way for us to mark time. So especially like a salad bar. You put food out on a salad bar, and in a lot of cases, it may be chilled from underneath, but the food itself is probably riding right at room temperature, depending on what the product is. And we would have to mark a time this can only be out here, 2 hours or 4 hours. Typically what a restaurant would do is take what's allowed and then make it tighter. So for example, if a certain food is allowed to be out 4 hours, a restaurant may say, that's good for the health department, but we're only going to do 2 hours for food quality. So you can actually be tighter in what the health department's looking for.
I was just going to say that's an excellent point.
As a chain, they want to make it as easy on the operators as possible. So they'll set the rules a little bit tighter, knowing that if the health department does come in and it's 2 hours and 15 minutes, they're still good. Corporate's going to be mad because it's 15 minutes late, but the health department's not going to be mad because it's still within 4 hours. And you've alluded to this many times, is the health inspector is there just to do a job. They don't want to write you up. They want to get in and get out.
It's true. Yep.
They want to sit and chat with you a few minutes and then go.
Yes. And honestly, they have their own quota that they have to meet. You probably know that. They have a quota they have to meet, so many inspections. When they're having to spend extra time, some of our local restaurants, you don't have to put this in there, some of our local restaurants, you've got cockroaches and stuff like that. Oh my goodness. They have to, and then they have to go re-inspect, And if they can get in and get out in one inspection, you correct those violations on the spot, they're out and they're good. Yeah, you're right. They don't want any more work for themselves either.
No, not at all. They want to they're like water. They want to take the path of least resistance. And
for sure.
A lot of food truck owners don't realize, and even restaurant people don't realize that, they feel like they're inspector is mean. Well, he's mean because you've upset his schedule. You have messed him up because now he's got to mark off stuff that he doesn't want to have to mark off because it's going to force him, like you said, into a reinspection or an admin hearing. And they don't want to do an admin hearing because that takes out a huge chunk of their day. They would rather you just be good. Mark a couple things off that aren't critical, and they hit the road and they're fine.
Exactly.
Let's talk about, if people have an interest in what you have to offer, where would they find it?
Yeah, so right now we offer these tools on Etsy just as a printable download. It's AJ's Consulting there on Etsy. And then we're also working to make them available on Amazon as well. So also we created a promotional code specifically for listeners of the 10-Minute Podcast. And that promo code is simply 10-Minute. And that's going to get you 10% off of any of those digital downloads that you would like. And so that's 10-Minute for the 10-Minute Podcast listeners.
I do appreciate that. The links for everything that you mentioned will be in the description, as well as a reminder of that discount. And I do appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time today.
Yes, thank you for having me. It was an honor to talk with you. I really appreciate you having me on.
Oh, you are very welcome. Thank you guys so much for listening to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. If you're finding everything helpful that we do, please consider subscribing. And if you love what we do, show some support. There's a link in the description to make that happen. Until next time, you guys have a profitable day.